Good morning. It says this Hangout is on the air. Welcome. It's Saturday, April 16th, and welcome to another hopefully exciting session of Dream with Len. And good morning, Chris, and good morning, Christy, and woof woof, hello, Buttons. And looks like we have another small group today, but that's all right. Let's get going. We've got a long ways to go and a short time to get there. That was a line from, what was the name of the movie? Can anybody remember the movie? That was the guy driving across the country with a truck full of beer. Any rate, let's get going here. Sharing the screen. I think Buttons just said woo. Woof woof woo. Okay, all right. Smokey and the Bandit. There you go. Yeah. Here we go. I'm going to share the screen. I assume everybody can see the screen. And I'm going to bring up the share to everyone. PowerPoint. There we go. Dream with Len, focusing on the law of attraction and how to achieve the life of your dreams. Today we're going to talk about language, and we're going to actually start the topic with affirmations, but really the topic is what do we say to ourselves? The foundation of everything we need to do in our lives starts with how we talk to ourselves and how we perceive ourselves, as we've discussed over the last couple of weeks. It starts with our beliefs, what Bob Proctor called several weeks ago, our paradigm. And today what I want to do is start where we left off last week. We talked about affirmations and et cetera last week. Today we're going to talk about affirmations and then a few other topics in languaging. So I'm going to start us off with Noah St. John. Noah wrote a book called The Secret Code of Success. He's known as the inventor of affirmations, and he wrote another book called The Book of Affirmations. So we're going to focus in a little bit on Noah St. John this morning and some of the things that he has taught us. He starts with a thing called the permission pyramid. And if you look at the permission pyramid, the very top of the pyramid says, find your because. The very bottom of the pyramid is affirmations. He sees affirmations as the basis of everything else. And in fact, the basis of everything is maybe not necessarily affirmations, but it certainly is our beliefs and our languaging and the things that we tell ourselves. So let's move on. We have been taught over the years affirmations, and we talked about them last week. An affirmation is a statement of something we wish to be true, but it's not yet true. So an example might be, I am wealthy, I am in good shape, when you're not. And the problem is that, as we talked about, many people struggle with affirmations, and the reason they struggle with them is head talk, what I call monkey chatter. There's these monkeys between our ears that are sitting there going, no, you're not, no, you're not. You say, I am wealthy, and your monkeys say, no, I'm not. You say, I am wealthy, and then you look at the pile of bills sitting on the table and the checking account that says zero, and you go, no, well, who am I kidding? So we tend to discount our affirmations. So let's go back to the beginning. Thought. What is thought? Thought itself is a process of asking questions and seeking answers. The human brain, the conscious and subconscious mind, work in pictures. From Maxwell Maltz's book, Psycho-Cybernetics, the new science of cybernetics has furnished us with convincing proof that the so-called subconscious mind is not a mind at all, but a mechanism. Excuse me, a goal-striving servo mechanism consisting of the brain and the nervous system, which is used by and directed by the mind. What in the hell does all that mean? In simpler terms, give your mind a problem and it's going to seek a solution. That's what a servo system does. A servo system seeks to solve a problem. So if you ask yourself a question, your mind must search for the answer. That's the whole thing in a nutshell. Maxwell Maltz wrote a whole book about it, but that's really the summary of what it is. So if you say to yourself something like, Why am I so wealthy? Your mind does two things. It draws a picture of wealth, and then it seeks an answer to that question, why am I wealthy? And we can use that little fact to program ourselves to help our subconscious mind and our conscious mind go for what we want. So Noah St. John talks about the shower that changed everything. He asked himself, he claims he was in the shower when this happened, and he asked himself the following question: if human thought is the process of asking and searching for answers to questions, well, why are we going about making statements that we don't believe in? And thus the concept of affirmations was born. So Noah St. John reasoned. You were told that you could change your mind with statements when your mind responds naturally to questions. So the problem is simply a question that hasn't been answered. Any problem is simply a question that hasn't been answered. So instead of statements you don't believe, why not ask questions that can transform your life? So the reality is you're creating your life in two ways. You're creating it by the statements that you're saying to yourself and by the questions that you're asking yourself. And once again, your brain has an automatic search function. It's called the embedded presupposition factor for anybody who really cares to know. But again, the fact is that if I ask a question, the brain automatically goes into a search routine and starts searching for the answer. So we can ask ourselves disempowering questions, negative questions that produce negative results, and they focus our mind on things we don't want. And so by law of attraction, you get what you don't want and perpetuate the cycle of negativity. And frequently people do ask themselves negative questions, disempowering questions. You know, I might sit there and I might say, well, why do I have so many bills? Why am I so fat? Why am I lonely? Why doesn't anybody like me? Why do other people always get the breaks? How's come I never win the lotto? These are examples of disempowering questions. And when we say things like that to ourselves, what we really do is we create a picture in our mind of the thing we don't want, and we end up focusing on the thing we don't want. So what we want to do is turn that process around. We want to focus on asking empowering questions. And how do you know if you've been asking yourselves disempowering questions? Well, one way is to look at your results. Are you getting what you want out of your life? If you look at your results and you find out that your results aren't reflecting what you want in your life, it may be that you still have a block somewhere. It may be that you're asking yourself disempowering questions. It may be that you're still focusing on what you don't want. And many of us struggle with this. This is not an easy thing, especially if we were programmed all of our life with disempowering thoughts, which many of us were. So what do? We ask empowering questions. They cause our mind to focus on what you want to have rather than on what you don't have. And they lead to feelings of self-esteem and a positive self-image. So focus your mind on what's right as opposed to what's wrong. And that will lead directly to answers that tell the truth about who you really are. Once again, the mind operates with pictures. If I tell you there's an elephant in the room, what do? You immediately draw a picture in your mind of a room with an elephant in it. Now, some people are better at this than others. Some people can draw more detail in their mind. They can see with more clarity. Now, this is this thing called creative visualization. But our mind works in pictures. So if we draw a picture of what we want and ask our mind to go find it, we create an easier time for ourselves to get to where we want to go to. And that's the whole point of all this, changing our negative thoughts to positive thoughts. So, and the way to do this is to just ask ourselves positive questions. And you can see an evolution in the process. So rather than saying, why do I have so many bills? You can ask yourself, why am I getting all my bills under control? Well, that's a better question. What am I doing to reduce my bills? That's an even better question. Why am I debt free? That's an even better question. Why do I experience positive cash flow? Why am I such a great money manager? So you can see that we can take any question that's negative and we can evolve it into a positive question. Why am I approaching my ideal weight? And I would put my ideal weight of pounds. Why am I attracting the right person into my life? Well, think about that, for example. Why am I attracting the right person into my life as opposed to why am I alone? So if I say, why am I alone? Or why don't I have a girlfriend? Or why don't I have the right person in my life? If I ask myself any of those kinds of questions, I'm drawing a picture in my mind of what I don't want. I'm drawing a picture of being alone. I'm drawing a picture of not having the right person. But if I say, why am I attracting the right person into my life? Now I'm drawing a picture of what I do want. And my mind immediately goes to a picture of what that means for me. What is the right person for me? Why am I so popular? Why am I so lucky? These are examples of very empowering questions that help you to draw a picture in your mind of what you may want in your life. And for me, for example, and let me pick on me for just a little bit. As many of you know, I'm single. And yeah, one of the things that I want to do is I want to attract what we would all call my soulmate. I want to attract the right person into my life. And if I ask myself, why am I attracting the right person into my life? That lets me draw a picture in my mind of what that looks like. And if I work with people like Wayne Dyer, we're going to look at Wayne Dyer's Wishes Fulfilled in a couple of weeks, but he talks about living from the end. So you got to believe that this thing, whatever you want, you got to believe that it's there. For example, is the right person for me in my life out there in the universe somewhere? Yeah, sure she is, absolutely. So what am I doing to attract her? So I can ask myself a question like that, and then it gives my mind something to work on. And my mind goes to work answering the question, well, what am I doing to attract the right person? Why is the right RV that I want coming to me? Does it exist? Is it out there? Sure, it's there. So these are just examples, and I don't want to pick on me, but I want to just give you a couple of examples of things to think about. What are the things that you want in your life? And ask yourself, why are they on their way to you? How are they getting here? Or maybe not so much how are they getting here, but why are they on their way? What are you doing to attract them? As opposed to asking yourself, why aren't they here? Which is again drawing a negative picture. So the purpose of affirmations then is just to change your disempowering questions and make them empowering questions and gain conscious control of the thoughts that you're planning in your mind, which then again through the law of attraction is going to help you to attract the things that you want. It's going to change your life. So in the affirmation process, the 4 steps are: step number 1, define what you want. Once again, going back to the very beginning of this series of webinars, if we don't have a clear vision of what we want in our life, we're going to have trouble getting it. We have to have goals. We have to have a vision. We've got to create that vision. So assume you have a vision. Ask yourself, what do you want? Then form a question that assumes that what you want is already true. Why is my soulmate coming to me? Why is my new RV on its way? Things like that. Let your mind search for the answer. And then the important thing is to take actions based on what you learn about. When you ask your mind a question and it searches for the answer, it's going to come up with things. So if I say, for example, why is the person I want, why is my soulmate being attracted to me? Then my mind can search for, well, what am I doing to attract that person? Am I being the kind of person that she would be attracted to? Am I radiating that energy into the universe? And now I can begin to envision taking the actions that I need to take to answer the questions that my mind gave back to me. and to put myself in a position where I'm attracting the thing that I want in my life. I hope all this is making sense. So at the end of it all, at the beginning of it all is creating that vision, having a vision for what you want. And at the end of it all, the end of the process is once again getting into action, doing the things that the person would do. Be, do, have. Be the person that you want to be, and do the things that person would do to have the things that person would have. So it all ties together. It all ties together with everything that we've talked about. So ask yourself what you want. Again, set your goals, create the vision of what you truly want in your life, and don't put any energy at all into what you don't want. Form a question that assumes that what you want is already true. And again, the quality of your life depends on two things: the quality of the communications with the world inside yourself, and the quality of the communications with the world outside yourself. And we are working on the internal communication. How do we talk to ourselves? So the affirmation method. Why is what I want true in my life right now? Why am I so wealthy? Why am I so well liked? Why am I in such good condition? Why do I get all the breaks? Why am I so lucky? Why is the right person attracted to me? These are examples. And your mind is going to search for the solution to these questions. That's what it does, according to Maxwell Maltz. It's a servo-seeking mechanism. You give it a problem to solve, it searches for the solution. And it will point you in the right direction and help you take the actions that you need to take. In other words, help you be what you want to be, so that you can do the right things and attract the circumstances you want in your life. I'm going to borrow for a moment from Wayne Dyer's book, Wishes Fulfilled. When you're doing this process, you have to suspend your disbelief. You have to suspend your senses. I'm sorry. You have to suspend your senses. You see, you can destroy the process. You can sabotage it by letting your senses overrule your subconscious mind. So I can say, why is the RV that I want on its way to me? And I can walk out my front door and I can see with my eyes that there's no RV sitting there. And I can walk back in and say, well, see, that's not working. What you have to do is you have to believe that what you want already exists. This goes all the way back to what is thought, and we're going to dig deeper into this in the next couple of weeks. But as soon as you think about something, as soon as you put any energy into the thought process, the universe begins to create that entity, that thing. It does exist. My RV is out there somewhere. Now, maybe it's in the factory. Maybe it's on a RV lot in Oregon. I don't know where it is. I just know that it's on its way. And this is where I say you have to suspend your sensory perception. You can't say, well, I can't see it. I can't feel it. I can't touch it. I can't smell it. I can't taste it. That doesn't mean it isn't there. It just means it hasn't arrived yet. It's on its way. Why is the right person attracted to me? Well, she's not here yet, but she's out there. She's traveling. She's in a plane or in a car, or maybe she's backpacking across the Sierras right now. I don't know where she's at exactly, but I have to believe that she's there. And once you convince yourself that what you want already exists, all you've got to do is pave the way for that thing or that person to make its way to you. You got to clear the obstacles. And that's clearing your disbelief. That's clearing your negative thinking. That's clearing the blocks that are stopping you from attracting that person or that thing to you. Does that make sense? What you want already exists. It's there. We just have to clear the road for it to come to you. We have to clear the path. And that's what we're talking about doing. So some more examples. Why am I such a good money manager? Why do I always pay myself first? Why do I put money into my financial freedom account every day? These come from T. Harv Eker's training on the Millionaire Mindset. So some other examples of affirmations. So again, let your mind search for the answer. Ask better questions. Asking better questions causes your mind to focus on better things and perhaps on things you've never even focused on before. Asking, why am I rich, causes your mind to focus on all the things you have as opposed to the things you don't have. So you can ask yourself, why don't I have that new car? Well, that's a disempowering question. Or you can ask yourself, why am I rich? And your mind, once again, if you ask yourself that question, it begins to look at all the things you have around here. Maybe when you ask yourself, why am I rich? You think about things like, well, I got food, I've got a house. Gee, there's no bombs falling on my head. I have a car to drive. I have a computer. I've got a television. You can go on and on and on. Well, we can list 100 things. We could probably easily list 100 reasons why I'm rich, as opposed to why do I have so many bills, which again spins us into negativity. So, and if you don't believe that your mind will find the answer, you go to Google and ask it questions? When you ask Google a question, it comes up with an answer. Your mind is a whole lot more powerful than Google. So you've got to believe. You just have to suspend disbelief completely. You have to believe that when you ask your mind a question, it will find the answer. But you have to ask it the right questions. You have to ask it empowering questions. And now you have to take action based on your new assumptions. The affirmation method makes conscious and clear that which until now has been subconscious and hidden. That's a quote directly from the book. So, since you're now forming positive questions that assume what you want is true, your mind has no choice but to work on making it so. But you have to act. You have to do the things necessary. Again, be, do, have. Act as if. Act as if. Live from the end. Suspend your senses and let your mind understand that in the great scheme of things in the universe, that which you want already exists. It is out there, and it is looking for you too. It is looking for you, and you have to help it find its way by clearing the blocks and clearing the negative thoughts. And I'm not telling you this is all easy to do. It's very easy to fall back into negativity. And as we talked last week, the weeds will grow. You got to pull the weeds every day. You can't just ignore them. If you plant a garden and you don't pull the weeds, well, you know what happens. So how often should you do this? Let's assume that you're going to go with the affirmations. How often should you do it? Noah St. John will tell you to do it at least twice a day, once in the morning, once before going to bed. I want to tell you a little story. I'm going to tell you the story of the upside down astronauts. If you haven't heard it before, it's really an intriguing story. And you can look it up on the internet. I'm not making this stuff up. There's been a whole lot of different experiments done with similar things, but the one that's the most famous is a group of astronauts were given a set of glasses to wear that literally turned the world upside down. It reversed the light rays entering their eyes and caused the world to appear upside down to them. Now, at first, they stumbled around pretty awkwardly, as you can imagine. And they weren't allowed to take the glasses off. They had to wear them continuously, day and night. They'd sleep in them. Weren't allowed to take them off. And an amazing thing happened. The amazing thing that happened is that nominally 27 days into the experiment, the world flipped right side up again. They didn't take the glasses off. Their brain compensated. It trained itself. It rewired itself. The neural programming took over, and the world suddenly flipped upside down. Now, there's several really important pieces of information here. One is, how do you form a new habit? You do it repeatedly. How long does it take? Well, the answer is variable, but the nominal answer is 27 days. It might be 30 days. Some people got there faster. Some people took a little longer. But the nominal answer is 27 to 30 days. What happens if I break the pattern? If an astronaut removed his glasses on day 26, the next day was day 1. It wasn't day 27. It was day 1. The entire pattern reset, and he had to start over again. Now, I want you to hear this carefully, because I believe that the gold nuggets embedded in this story are so profound that you can use it to completely and radically change your entire life, and you can also use it to explain why you're not making the progress you want to make. First, what the scientists learn is that the brain requires approximately 30 uninterrupted days for the new neural connections to form, for new habits to form. Notice the word uninterrupted. If you interrupt the pattern, you reset. So if I say my affirmations for 26 days and on the 27th day I quit, well, you read into that. What do you think happens? You reset. Do you completely reset with affirmations? I don't know. But you reset. The consistency is absolutely essential. And I may have said affirmations, I may have said afformations. Hey, use the words interchangeably. Whatever works for you is what is the right thing to do. Should I do affirmations? Should I do afformations? Should I ask empowering questions, which is essentially the same thing? Sorry. You should do whatever works for you. The actual number was between 21 and 40 days, depending on the individual. There's a website that you can go read about this. The important message is patterns, the brain will rewire itself. After 30 days of conscious, intentional deliberation and thought and effort get easier and easier. And by 90 days, it's very much a part of who you are, a new habit, only this time, it's one that's serving you and moving you towards your goals. So if you can start a new process, you can reprogram yourself. And we know that the right answer is, how long does it take to reprogram myself, to reprogram my brain, to form new neural connections, to create a new habit? We know the right answer is 90 days. It might be 24. It could be 45. We know by 90 days, it's absolutely part of your life now. But you have to be consistent with it. It's important to understand that it's not good enough to just decide to break a bad habit. Once the bad habit is gone, it's got to be replaced with something else. So you can't just break a bad habit. The universe abhors a vacuum. So releasing a bad habit leaves a void that has to be filled with something. So if you don't consciously replace a habit that's not serving you with one that will, then you're going to go back to the bad habit. It's easier. So that addresses things like, losing weight, eating improperly, drinking, smoking, the things that are not good for us. It takes time to replace a bad habit with a good one. And it's important that when you break a bad habit, when you work on a bad habit, that there's something to replace it. What can I say? What more can I say about that? So what if after all this you're still struggling? Affirmations don't work really well for you. You don't like them now. Well, you can try setting intentions. I intend to be, and we talked about this last week, I intend to be debt-free by state a specific date. I intend to reach my ideal weight of 150 pounds by June 1st. Okay, make it realistic, make it concrete, make it something that you actually can believe in. So the problem with setting intentions, the challenge is that doesn't give your mind a problem to solve. So now you have to decide what actions to take in order to, say, become debt-free or to lose that weight you have to decide what actions you're going to take. Whereas if you give your mind a problem, how can I, or why am I getting there, et cetera, then you can count on your subconscious mind to come up with answers as to what you should do. And then you have to take the actions. I want to wrap up today with talking a little bit more about the other pieces of languaging. There are 3 really absolutely forbidden words, and you never want to use these words. So, for example, the first word is can't. As soon as you say, I can't do something, your brain shuts down and quits trying. I can't mow the lawn. Well, yes, you can. Of course you can. What do you mean you can't? How about I don't know how, or I have yet to, or I don't feel like doing it right now? As soon as you use the word can't, your brain quits working. It simply shuts down and says, okay, I can't. So I'm done. We're finished with that. Next. I can't pay my bills. Oh, God. You don't want to say that. You simply don't want to say that. First off, it's focusing on the negative. Secondly, it's shutting your brain down. It's not working on the problem. It's not trying to solve a problem because you told it it can't. There's nothing to do. It's done. You're finished. Does that make sense? Do you understand that when you use the word can't, you shut yourself down completely? The other word is should. I should do that. I should mow the lawn. Well, if you should, get up off your butt and go do it. What do you mean you should do it? What does that mean? Should is a promissory note that you never intend to cash. When you say I should do something, I will challenge you. If any time in your life you ever said, I should do something, if you ever actually did it? No. Should means you don't intend to do it. You're giving yourself permission to get off the hook. You're excusing yourself. You're apologizing. So either do it or don't do it. If you're not going to do it, just be honest with yourself. Don't say I should. I should go clean the garage. Well, then go clean the garage. Or be honest with yourself. I'm not going to do that. It's not in my mission statement for today. It's not on my task list. I'm simply not going to do it. Let yourself off the hook. Don't stress about it and don't pretend. You can't should. You can't say I should do something. Yeah, right. I can see somebody in the chat right now writing about shoulding all over yourself. That was a Tony Robbins quote. I should do it. People should all over themselves. If you should do it, get up and go do it. And the last one is take. Be careful with the word take. We don't ever want to take anything from anyone. Take has a connotation of not having permission. We don't take. We receive if something is offered, but we don't take anything from anyone. It just has a bad connotation. 3 ugly words in the English language: can't, should, and take. Now, going all the way back to the Guru Code, code number 1, for those of you who were there, the language of champions, labeled the language of kings in the Guru Code. Kings and queens don't air their dirty laundry in public. They don't discuss lack or inability. They don't discuss what they can't do. They always project a positive image. Real leaders lead. They don't wallow in their crap. And the reason I put this in here today is in talking about language and talking about affirmations and affirmations and empowering questions and negative words, we want to be careful about what we say. And even if we just say it in passing in public, our words, remember, every word that leaves our lips goes into our ears and into our brain. If you say, I can't get that capture page done, what are you saying to yourself? What are you telling yourself? If you say, I can't I can't make any sales. What are you telling your brain? What are you telling yourself? So be careful about airing your dirty laundry in public. And be particularly careful in our business about talking to other people in our business about lack and inability, telling other people what you can't do. You can tell people what you're working on and what your progress is and what your intentions are and when you're going to be finished, and project positivity. That's all I'm saying to you. Be very careful about what you say to other people. First off, if you approach other people with negativity, it pushes them away. They can't do anything for you. They can feel sorry for you. Mostly they don't want to hear it anyhow. And secondly, once again, every word out of your lips is going back into your ears, and it's helping to maintain the negative programming in your brain about what you can't do. So when you defend your limitations, you get to keep them. We've heard this a million times before, and I wanted to put it in here today, as long as we're talking about languaging. When you tell people why you are so, insert any negative comment you want, broke, fat, poor, etc., you're really looking for validation and sympathy. And I'll tell you, me personally, I really, really, really learned this in spades. It's one of the things that I did for many, many years without realizing that I was doing it. And I'm not even going to repeat some of the things that I used to say. I'm just going to say that I don't say them anymore. And I'm going to admonish you to do the same thing. To always project positivity, always project progress, always project winning, always project getting what you want, accomplishment. So, leaders lead by example. Be positive, be strong, be enough, be a leader, overcome your obstacles, and be brave. Put that message out there. I am a leader. I am enough. I am going somewhere. I know where I'm going. I know who I am. Come with me. I'll take you by the hand. I'll show you the way. That's the message. So remember, you're awesome. I believe in you. You're a winner. You are enough. And thank you for attending. I hope you got value out of today's little show. I'm going to slow down that. I'm going to stop the share. And I'm going to assume that you can hear me and see me again. Hi, Roxanne. Will somebody type? Will somebody type in the chat that you can hear and see me again? Oh, thank you, Christy. Thank you. Okay, good. Hey, that's it. Sorry I ran a few minutes over. I should have told you in the beginning that I knew that was going to happen. That's what I have for you today. Now, we talked about intention today. Wayne Dyer has a whole book and several hours of lectures on the power of intention. And we're going to dig into that next week. That's next week's topic, is expanding on the power of intention. And next week's going to be fascinating. I'm going to take you someplace that you've never thought about going before. I'm going to take you deeper into the universe and how it really works, at least how it really works according to some people. At any rate, thanks, Christy. I appreciate it. That's all for today. You folks have a wonderful weekend. Again, sorry I ran a little bit late, but that's what it is. And I'll hopefully see some of you, all of you maybe, on Tuesday for Lunch with Len. Meanwhile, like I said, have a great weekend. Thank you, everybody, for all of the wishes yesterday. Got over 100 people writing on my wall. I've tried to reply back to everybody. If I missed anybody, please forgive me. I really did try, but I had trouble keeping up with Facebook sometimes. So, okay, we'll talk again. Bye for now. What was your question? I'm sorry, Chris, what was your question? Chris, the chat went by too fast. I don't see a question. Let me scroll. What was that website? Whoa, how many affirmations should you work on at a time? Is that the question? Yeah, makes sense to me. I'm sorry, which question, what question didn't I answer? Chris, either put your question up in the chat again, or I can pop you on over real quick here. It's up to you. Here, I'm gonna go pop. You can come on over. And if you don't want to, just ignore it. Looks like you're coming. Hey there.
Hey.
Hey, good morning.
Hey. Yeah, that was the question. How many should you be working on at a time? And would a vision board with the affirmation that you're working on at that time make it even more powerful?
Well, okay, the first question, how many affirmations should you be working on at a time? I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know that I'd have to manufacture something. I've never seen anybody put a limitation on it. Honestly, no idea at all. Good question, but I don't think Noah St. John puts a limit on it. And vision boards, I absolutely love vision boards. I absolutely think they're marvelous things. So absolutely, I agree completely. If you have a vision board with your affirmations on, that would be pretty awesomely powerful. And you know, what I would say, I tell you what I would say for myself is to pick I'm gonna say two or three or a few things that are the most important things in your life that you want to make happen. I don't know how many. How many things?
I think you would overwhelm yourself if you tried to do too many at a time.
Yeah, probably. Probably. So
I just wondered if you had an answer to that.
I don't.
And what was that website?
Which website? Oh, you know what? I'll tell you what. For the astronaut program, I'll tell you what. Let me go get it. I'll put it up. I'll put it up in Lunch with Len. I'll post it in the Lunch with Len group. Okay.
Okay.
And I'll also post the replay up here. And once again, for anyone who doesn't know, I didn't create a new group for this, so we don't have too many groups to belong to anyhow. So I'm just working out of the Lunch with Len group for posting the replays and etc. So
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay.
All
That's
right.
it.
Thank you.
All right, my friend. Hey,
it was a great show.
thank you. Help me get more people to come to this. I feel a little bit lonely with only 4 of us here.
I talked about it yesterday. I think maybe you'd already left, but I did tell somebody that asked, oh, when we were talking about meditation, I told everybody that you had this today.
Yeah. Anyhow, that's all for today.
Well, you remember what you said. You didn't care if anybody showed up. You'd do it anyway.
Well, I am. But
it would be nice if we could spread the message some more, because there's some very good information here.
Yeah, and I really would like to get a wider distribution. So, and I'm putting there's a lot of time goes into this.
Yes,
so.
I can tell.
All right, my friends. You have a great weekend.
Weekend, everybody.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye.